meant for you. All right, Libra, let's get into your reading. All right, the energy coming through today is this. You have shifted something permanent inside this person. Nobody before you, and I mean truly nobody, has ever broken through the walls they carried. You reached a place in their heart that was sealed off, locked away from every connection before yours. That is the core of what the cards are confirming today, and it runs incredibly deep. This person experienced a shift they did not anticipate, and it rewired the way they approach love entirely. You were not just another chapter for them. You became the reason the whole story changed direction. Whatever they believed about themselves before you, those beliefs have been completely rewritten from the inside. The version of love they swore did not exist, you walked right in and proved it was real. They had convinced themselves that guarding their heart was wisdom, but your presence exposed it as unnecessary armor. Let us come in close today, because the cards are backing every single piece of this message. Here is our first card, and it is the Empress, sitting right at the center of this energy. The Empress does not show up casually. This card carries the weight of nurturing and unconditional warmth. What it confirms here is that your presence, your natural warmth, cultivated something brand new inside them. Before you entered, their emotional world was barren terrain. Nothing grew there because nothing felt safe enough. You changed the soil itself, and now everything they buried is finally starting to bloom in your direction. That transformation was not quick or shallow. It happened slowly because you kept showing up with consistency. Their guard was high and reinforced by years of emotional letdowns, but your patience outlasted everyone. What makes this remarkable is that you were not trying to fix them, you were just being yourself. The Empress recognizes that kind of organic influence, the type that heals without ever announcing its own arrival. The Empress also tells me your energy carries a maternal quality, something protective and deeply grounding. They are not used to being held emotionally like that, and it caught them completely off guard. You did not demand their vulnerability. You created the conditions where it finally felt safe to surface. The next card coming through is the Ace of Cups, and this one validates the emotional rebirth completely. Aces represent pure beginnings, and in the suit of cups, that translates to a completely fresh emotional chapter. This person's heart was not open before you, and every attempt from others barely scratched the surface. You did not scratch the surface, you dissolved it entirely and reached somewhere no one else has been. The overflow of emotion they are sitting in right now, that is your direct influence on their spirit. They did not plan to feel this intensely, and they are still processing how deeply you reached them. What the Ace of Cups reveals is a cup empty for years, now finally overflowing because of you. That emotional flood is not chaotic for them. It actually feels like relief because they were starving. Every single defense mechanism they built to keep love out. Your energy rendered useless without confrontation or pressure. Then we have the Star, which is one of the most healing cards in the entire deck. This card speaks to restoration after real hardship, confirming that this person endured emotional devastation before you arrived. They had abandoned the belief that love could feel safe, reciprocal, and completely free of ulterior motives. You dismantle that belief system without force, and that is exactly why this transformation carries so much weight. The star confirms that you represent hope for them, not the fragile kind, but the deep, rooted kind. Every wall they constructed over years of disappointment, you walked through without even realizing what you were doing. Their healing started the moment you entered, and they recognize now that nothing before you compares to this. No previous connection even came close to producing this level of raw emotional surrender within their heart. That is why this message holds so much truth, because the shift you triggered was not surface level. It reached the foundation of who they are, and nobody has ever been granted that kind of access. You are the first person to change their heart completely, and the cards are making that unmistakably clear. Now the cards are shifting focus toward you, and what they reveal deserves your full attention. Let us go deeper into this, because your emotional world carries far more weight than you admit. You have been holding yourself together with composure, something most people would never recognize as pain. On the surface, you appear steady and grounded, but underneath that exterior is an exhaustion you barely acknowledge. Part of you questions whether what you feel is even valid, and that doubt has been sitting quietly. You want clarity more than anything right now, but the answers keep shifting every time you reach. A restlessness lives in your chest that refuses to calm, and you have tried to rationalize it. You tell yourself patience will fix everything, but a deeper part of you knows that is untrue. Here is our first card for your side, and it is the Six of Swords, confirming this. The Six of Swords represents transition, and it reveals you are mentally leaving an old self behind. You have outgrown the version of you that accepted confusion as normal, and that awareness unsettles you. What this card highlights is the mental migration happening inside you, a quiet departure from old patterns. You are moving away from tolerating uncertainty and toward demanding something genuinely solid from your connections. That shift is not aggressive or dramatic. It is an internal revolution nobody around you can detect. Your mind has been recalibrating what you accept, and the standards you held before no longer apply. The old version of you would have waited indefinitely, but you are done negotiating with your own needs. This card confirms a deep weariness in your spirit, like you have already crossed too many emotional waters. You are tired of analyzing every signal and silence, every shift in energy that arrives without explanation. That mental fatigue is valid, and the cards want you to know that feeling drained is not weakness. Your soul has been absorbing tension your mind refuses to name, and your body holds all of it. Your thoughts circle the same questions on repeat, and that loop wears your spirit thinner each day. Nobody taught you how to rest while your heart stays wide open, and that contradiction exhausts you constantly. The next card coming through is the Queen of Wands, and this one speaks directly to your fire. You carry a warmth and magnetism that draws people in, but you rarely turn that energy toward yourself. The Queen of Wands tells me you pour your passion outward, leaving very little fuel for yourself. Your heart leads with generosity and depth, but you forget that your own cup requires that same care. What stands out is the gap between how fiercely you love and how gently you treat yourself. You advocate for everyone around you with conviction, yet you hesitate when it involves your own needs. The Queen of Wands is clear. Redirect a fraction of that intensity back toward your own heart. Your fire has never been the problem. You keep giving it away before you ever feel its warmth. You deserve the same loyalty and attention you extend to others, and deep down, you already know that. Your intuition has been louder than usual lately, and you keep fighting it instead of following its lead. That inner voice telling you that you deserve more, that is not ego. That is truth arriving. Then we have the Four of Cups, speaking to the emotional stagnation you have been feeling lately. The Four of Cups shows you sitting with an offer, one you are not sure you can trust. Your hesitation is not weakness. It is discernment born from hard experience and every scar you collected. You have been burned by hope before, and that memory makes it difficult to receive anything genuine. What the Four of Cups reveals is that your guard is not blocking love, it is filtering it. You are not closed off, you are cautious, and there is a critical difference between those two states. The cards see you standing at the edge of something real, and only your own fear holds you. Every part of you craves permission to believe in what is forming, but the scars keep whispering caution. Your emotions are not confused. They are overwhelmed by how much you want this to be everything. That is the truth the cards pulled out of you today, and it needed to be fully spoken. You feel more than you express. You carry more than you ever reveal. And this reading honors that. Okay, let us see what the cards are showing today, because their side tells a completely different story. Everything happening inside this person is layered and conflicted, far more intense than they ever let on. They have been carrying a weight they refuse to share, and it has been reshaping them from within. Their silence is not indifference. It is the sound of a person drowning in their own unspoken truth. What they project outward and what they feel inward, those are two completely separate realities operating simultaneously. There is a war inside them between what they want and what they believe they deserve to have. They rehearse conversations with you inside their own mind and never follow through with a single one. The fear of exposure keeps them locked in a cycle of wanting you, then retreating back into safety. Here is our first card for their side, and it is the Knight of Pentacles, arriving with purpose. The Knight of Pentacles is methodical and grounded, confirming that this person moves with extreme emotional caution. They are not ignoring you. They are strategizing every interaction because they cannot afford to get this wrong. What this card reveals is that their feelings for you are not impulsive. They are deeply calculated. Calculated not in a manipulative sense, but in the way of a person who has been reckless before. They learned the hard way what happens when emotions outpace wisdom, and that lesson left real scars. The Knight of Pentacles confirms they are building toward you slowly, brick by brick, inside their own mind. Every thought they have about you gets filtered through layers of protection long before it reaches their behavior. That is why their actions feel inconsistent, because the version you see is heavily edited and controlled. The raw version of what they feel would overwhelm you, and they know that instinctively without being told. They measure every word before it leaves their mouth, terrified that the wrong one will collapse everything. The Knight also tells me they have rehearsed vulnerability with you and pulled back at the last moment. The next card coming through is the Moon, and this one exposes the fear driving all of it. The Moon governs illusion and hidden emotion, confirming this person operates from a place of deep fear. They are afraid of being fully seen because every time they were seen before, it ended in rejection. That wound is not fresh, it is ancient, and it has shaped every relationship they have attempted since. The Moon tells me they project a version of themselves that feels manageable, never the full, unfiltered truth. Beneath that projection is a person aching to be known, terrified that being known means being left. Their fear is not about you specifically, it is about what you represent to their entire emotional history. You represent the possibility that love could work, and that terrifies them more than failure ever could. If they let you in and it collapses, they genuinely do not believe they can ever rebuild. The Moon also reveals their dreams and subconscious thoughts are consumed by you in ways they actively resist. They wake up thinking about you, carry you through the day, and fall asleep still processing your energy. That level of mental occupation disturbs them because they associate it with losing control over their emotional stability. They have never allowed anyone to take up this much space in their thoughts, and it terrifies them. Then we have the Seven of Cups, and this card confirms the internal chaos of their emotional landscape. The Seven of Cups represents options and illusions, telling me their mind is flooded with competing desires. One part of them wants to surrender completely, while another part warns that surrender leads to destruction. They create vivid scenarios where everything works out, then build worse ones where everything falls apart. That mental tug of war is exhausting them, and it explains why their energy feels so inconsistent. The Seven of Cups confirms they want you with certainty, but their fear refuses to let them express. Their heart made its decision a long time ago, but their mind keeps filing objections from survival. Everything you sense from them that feels contradictory, that is a heart fighting its own protection. This person is not confused about you. They are confused about whether they truly deserve what you offer. So let us get into it because the cards reveal exactly what this person is about to do. The energy shifts from internal conflict to external movement, and the timing of that shift is right now. They have spent enough time in hesitation, and the pressure of their own feelings is forcing a decision. What the cards confirm is that action is no longer optional for them. It has become unavoidable. They are reaching a tipping point where silence costs more than speaking, and they feel that tension mounting. Here is our first card, and it is the Page of Wands, stepping forward with unmistakable initiative. The Page of Wands represents a bold first step, confirming this person is preparing to reach out directly. They are drafting the message in their head already, choosing the right words to make contact with you. This is not casual. It is a calculated opening move they have been rehearsing for weeks. The Page of Wands tells me their approach will feel spontaneous, but it is deeply intentional. What drives this action is a simple realization that waiting any longer risks losing the window entirely. They are aware that distance has been growing, and they refuse to let it solidify into permanent separation. The Page of Wands also confirms they will lead with curiosity rather than confession, testing the waters first. Expect a question disguised as casual interest, something that gives them a reason to keep the conversation going. Their strategy is to reestablish connection without exposing the full depth of what sits behind their words. They want to see how you respond first, before deciding how much vulnerability they are willing to reveal. The timing they choose will not be random. They are waiting for a moment that feels completely organic. Once they initiate, their follow-through will be quicker than anything you have previously seen from them. That first interaction will feel light on the surface, but underneath it carries enormous significance for them. They are already mapping out how to make the next conversation happen before the first one even ends. The next card coming through is the Two of Cups, and this confirms a deliberate pursuit of union. The Two of Cups is one of the strongest partnership cards in the deck, showing clear intention. This person is not reaching out just to talk. They are reaching out to establish something real. The Two of Cups tells me they move toward mutual recognition, an honest exchange with real weight. They want to sit across from you and lay down every pretense that has stood between you. Their plan involves creating a space where both of you can speak, free from the usual filters. They are preparing to initiate a conversation with actual depth, beyond the surface exchanges you are used to. The Two of Cups confirms their intention to match your energy fully, not just mirror it temporarily. They are done performing a version of connection, and they are ready to offer the authentic one. What changes now is the quality of their presence, because they plan to show up differently than before. Every interaction going forward will carry more weight and more honesty compared to what you have experienced before. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles, and this card speaks to the dedication behind their next steps. The Eight of Pentacles represents disciplined effort, telling me this person is committed to doing the actual work. They are not approaching you with empty words or temporary enthusiasm. They are building towards something sustainable. This card confirms they are willing to put in repetition and consistency, whatever it takes to earn trust. The Eight of Pentacles tells me they understand one conversation will not fix everything, and they accept that. They are prepared to show up repeatedly, proving through consistent behavior that their intentions match their words. The work they are willing to invest is not performative. It comes from a place of genuine accountability. Their next actions will be steady and deliberate, not grand gestures, but consistent daily choices that demonstrate commitment. The cards are clear that movement is imminent, beginning with this person stepping out of their comfort zone. What arrives next from them is not desperation, it is a grounded decision to stop letting fear dictate. They are done waiting for the perfect moment because they finally understand that the perfect moment is now. So come in close, because what the cards expose now is what this person will never say. These are the confessions buried underneath every interaction, the truths they swallow before they ever reach you. This person holds an entire conversation with you inside their chest, one you have never actually heard. The words they rehearse in private are nothing like the ones they deliver, and that gap haunts them. What lives beneath their composure is a longing so severe it would alter everything if you witnessed it. They guard these confessions like contraband, terrified that releasing even one would unravel their entire, carefully built front. Here is our first card. It is the High Priestess emerging from the deepest layer of this reading. The High Priestess governs secrets and unspoken knowledge, confirming that this person conceals the most essential truths. What they hide from you is not small. It is the central confession that defines everything they feel. The High Priestess tells me they are in love with you in a way they have never verbalized. Not infatuation or curiosity, this is a bone-deep recognition that you are irreplaceable to them. They have whispered this in moments of solitude and immediately retracted it out of pure terror. The confession that sits heaviest is this: they see a future with you they cannot stop imagining. Every quiet moment alone becomes a theater where they rehearse what life beside you could actually resemble. They picture mornings and silences that feel safe, an entire existence built quietly around your presence. The High Priestess reveals they have already chosen you internally, even though externally they offer no confirmation. That internal decision was not recent. It crystallized long ago, and they have been sitting with it. They confess in their own mind that nobody compares, and that realization isolates them from every alternative. Other people approach them and they feel nothing, because you are the only frequency their heart recognizes. The High Priestess also tells me they carry guilt about how much space you occupy in their thoughts. They feel exposed by their own obsession, even though you have no idea how consumed they truly are. What terrifies them is that this feeling grows stronger with time, not weaker, and they cannot stop it. The next card coming through is the Nine of Cups, the deepest wish card in the entire deck. The Nine of Cups represents secret desire fulfilled, confirming that their most private and sacred wish involves you. What they want most is not just connection, it is permanent belonging with you and nothing less. The Nine of Cups tells me their hidden desire is to be your person, fully and without reservation. They want exclusivity and emotional permanence, the kind of bond that removes all ambiguity from the equation. Their confession underneath that desire is even more vulnerable. They want to be needed by you specifically. Not wanted casually or appreciated from a distance, but genuinely needed in a way that cannot be substituted. The Nine of Cups confirms they fantasize about hearing you say you chose them above everyone else. That specific validation is the one thing they crave and the one thing they will never ask for. They would rather suffer in silence than risk hearing anything other than the answer they desperately need. Their pride masks a fragility so deep that even the possibility of rejection paralyzes their entire system. Then we have the Knight of Cups, carrying the weight of their undelivered emotional offering to you. The Knight of Cups represents a romantic offering held back, confirming they have something significant to give you. They have composed entire declarations in their head that would leave you speechless and erased every single one. The Knight of Cups tells me their unspoken confession sounds like surrender, a complete yielding to you. They want to tell you they have never felt this way about anyone, and they mean it literally. Not as flattery or exaggeration, but as a factual statement they would defend with their absolute certainty. Their final hidden confession is the simplest and also the most terrifying. They just want to be yours. Not temporarily or conditionally, not with any exit plan, but yours in the way that rewrites everything. The cards confirm what they hide is not confusion. It is a love so complete it terrifies them. Now, let us go ahead and dive into this because the cards show what unfolds from here. Here is our first card for what comes next. The Ten of Cups arriving with absolute clarity. The Ten of Cups represents emotional fulfillment, confirming that what builds between you is lasting and permanent. The near future holds a moment of mutual vulnerability where both of you finally drop the walls. That conversation will not be forced. It will arrive naturally once the tension reaches its tipping point. The Ten of Cups confirms that the outcome of that exchange leads to genuine, lasting emotional alignment. You will feel a shift in how they communicate, something warmer and more transparent than before. The distance between you begins collapsing in the coming weeks, replaced by a closeness that feels earned. The near future does not bring perfection, but it brings the honest progress that real trust requires. Their energy toward you will shift noticeably, removing any remaining question about where you actually stand. Then we have the Sun, one of the most powerful confirmation cards in the entire tarot deck. The Sun represents clarity and joy, telling me the near future brings resolution that removes remaining doubt. What was hidden becomes visible, what was uncertain becomes solid, and what was feared becomes safe. The Sun confirms that light enters this connection, and it illuminates every corner that confusion once occupied. Expect things between you to feel noticeably lighter, freer, and more aligned than they have ever been. The heaviness in this connection is lifting, and what replaces it is a calm you both desperately needed. Now for the advice. The cards are very specific about what they need you to hear right now. Do not chase clarity from them. Let it arrive at the pace their courage naturally allows. Your patience is not passive. It is the most powerful tool you carry, and they feel it constantly. When they reach out, receive them without interrogation. Let the conversation breathe without pressing for answers. Trust what your intuition confirmed long before the cards did. This connection is real and it is mutual. Protect your energy while staying open because the balance between boundaries and receptivity keeps this sacred. Do not shrink to make their fear comfortable. Hold your presence and let them rise to meet it. Your role is not to convince them of your value. They already know it at their core. The cards remind you that your worth was never the question. Their readiness was, and it has arrived. Now, let me bring this message together because every card confirmed the same truth from the start. The message today was this: you are the first person who ever changed their heart completely. That message was confirmed through every card that appeared across this entire reading without a single exception. The Empress planted something permanent, and the Ace of Cups validated the emotional rebirth you triggered inside them. The Star became their source of hope, while the Six of Swords confirmed your own internal transition. The Queen of Wands honored the fire you carry.